Well, good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
wherever you are in the world, or if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube. Welcome to the November edition of Southern Fried DNN. And we've got a good one for you guys. Got a few people from around the world here already. So thanks for everybody that's joining us live here. And if you like this kind of content, let us know some ideas that you might have for new content. We're always looking for people to share. It doesn't have to be super formal, by the way. Sometimes we'll do full presentations. Sometimes we just do kind of a round robin, sharing little 5 minute clips or 10 minute clips of stuff that you've done. So
Hmm.
if you have an idea or an idea of someone that might be interested in participating in that, let us know and we'll get you on the schedule. Go ahead and share screen here and go through a little bit of what we have for this meetup. Tonight we're going to have a presentation from Billy Shelton, which some of you may know in the community, and I will save the thunder for Ryan and Billy to talk a little
Yeah.
bit about what that's going to be. That's going to be really good. We since last month's meetup was not published on DNN, I'll go ahead and just reiterate that DNN 10.1.2 was released back in let's see, October the 14th.
Hmm.
So if you did not know about that, be sure to check that out. And I don't even remember what the highlights were of this. Daniel, can I put you on the spot? Do you remember kind of the gist of what all was in this release?
So it's mainly bug fixes. That's then the one to, yeah. I mean, a couple dependency updates and bug fixes, nothing to write
And,
home about.
and
Normal release.
I think the noteworthy thing probably is that it's the first one in a while that hasn't had some security related
Hmm.
stuff in it. I mean, it has it in it, but it doesn't have any known vulnerabilities that's out there. I will point this out while we're doing it. If I could find it,
It's
maybe
the
it's here
first one on
now.
far left. Oh, there you are. You found it.
So,
Hmm.
Security Center here, you'll notice that 10.1.2 does not have any known vulnerabilities out here. But this is a great resource for you to come to and check out. So if we were to go back to the last release of 9.13.9, you'd see all this. It good resource to kind of see when you need to upgrade DNN. And I will say, when you're logged into DNN now too, because I can't remember if this has been highlighted on any meetup that's been published yet or not, but there's been improvements lately in DNN as it relates to security.
Hmm.
There's been quite a bit of asked in the community to get a little bit more of an early warning of things that have been done. And that's always a challenge in open source, with not disclosing too much and giving people time to get upgraded before the details are published and like this. You'll now see in the persona bar when you hover, if you do have the update service turned on in DNN, you will see whether or not there's a upgrade available and whether or not it's critical. So if it shows as critical, then you need to go and look
Do
look
some.
through the security center and see which one you need to go to kind of get that addressed. And there are criticals all the way up until I think
10-1.
10.11 or something like that. Yeah, 10.11 was the first one that doesn't have in a while. So if you're on 10.1.0 or behind, then you definitely have a few things to take a look at there to get upgraded to the latest. We always encourage being on the latest, um, and at least being aware of what security issues are there at a high level. So they get published roughly 30 days after they're released, the fixes are released. So that gives people a bit of time to upgrade before the details are exposed about the security issues at hand.
Um, David, I don't know if you were going to stop off on it, but it was about a month ago that you posted a blog article on the community site that
Oh
was
yeah,
also talking about reporting security vulnerabilities and issues. And I don't know if you were planning to mention it, but I thought you should because it dovetails into this really nicely.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I probably should have mentioned it. I did mention it last week, but since it wasn't published, I'll go ahead and go
Right.
through it again here. Thanks for doing that. But I did post a blog here about kind of some of the challenges in the way we approach security in DNN with it being open source. And this applies to any open source project really, but this goes into details about how we as DNN maintainers, be able to maintain that and be able to handle it. So I encourage everybody to read this because you may just not realize how it works. You may feel like, oh, why don't you just tell me what's wrong and I'll go fix it or find a way to fix it. Well, I mean, there's pros and cons to doing that, right? It may help you, but it may expose to bad actors something that's not shouldn't be known. And then next thing you know, you've got hundreds and thousands of sites being hacked because some information has been leaked. But there's a process in place for all this, including a way to properly and responsibly report vulnerabilities if you find them, because that does happen from time to time. You may have a third-party scan that runs on the site or something, and you identify some vulnerability that scan has shown, or you just discover it unfortunately, because somebody has, exposed that in your instance, but when you find out something, it's best not to post that anywhere in the public, but use GitHub. There's a feature out here and I'll just open in a new tab and show, but for supporting a security advisory on this, and then the security team will review it. Back in the day, there was an email address that you could send to. That is no longer monitored by any human that I know of or anybody. This is the proper way to report security issues now, or what you even believe. And it may not even be an issue, right? But if you suspect it to be an issue, we say go ahead and report it, because somebody needs to research that. Daniel, I don't know if you want to add anything to
Yeah,
that.
it's a bit of a more complex form than reporting a normal issue, but all the fields are optional, so don't get scared by the complexity here. We will assess the severity and the affected versions and everything and the ecosystems affected if you don't know. So don't sweat it. Just the title and description is all we need. And any discussions that happen within this stay private. So it allows us to have a better one-on-one if it's something that might be environmental or stuff, and we can better discuss in private in here, including fixing in private. So the fix doesn't instantly become obvious for anybody to exploit that issue. With our 30 days
notice,
we have a rule that, like, we're gonna do a fix, we're gonna merge it in a hidden way mixed with other things, and then we do a release that includes the fix. Well, only 30 days after that release with the fix is out do we start disclosing very basic information about what the issue is. We want to try and help the good actors and not help the bad actors. So we don't go in crazy details on how to exploit it, just mention what system is affected, what the basic information about the issue is, to help the good actors and not the bad ones.
And Daniel, I want to bring up the point that comes off of what you were describing, that because it's described in a basic way and the specific details are not always gone into in detail, that's one of the reasons why looking at version number is one of the things that we try to train clients and DNN integrators into paying attention to, in that if you are staying close to the top, you are continuing and updating yourself. You don't have to look at it and know whether you have some vulnerabilities or not. If you're staying current and you are, regularly updating, then you don't have to dig into those details or understand what the vulnerability was to know that you're making yourself more ready and more covered by whatever's being published right now, whether it's been disclosed or not.
Yeah.
So not only does, these things show up in here in the security center, they also, you'll notice that it actually gets assigned a CVE, a vulnerability number, to it. And they actually get published. Oops, if I can get back over to the blog. In that using the CVSS scoring system, that's in there.
Huh.
And they get published to the National Vulnerability Database as well, MVD. So that's where you would find a lot of reference to any kind of CVEs that are out there. So you could do a search by .NET Nuke like it already has defaulted here, but based on the link that I just sent. And these are all the vulnerabilities, and you'll see the same kind of text out here for each of these, but they go into a little bit more detail as far as like some of the formality and format of how that they list these, but it has the same
intent.
I didn't realize that was there. So you can
neither.
actually see how complex it is to use the attack vector. Like,
Yeah.
do you have to be a genius versus could someone like me do it?
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's a measurement, like we don't decide personally if we consider something critical or medium or low. There's an actual rating system, right? If you can exploit it on the public internet, if you can
So here it is here. There's a screenshot.
there's a calculator. Exactly. So
Nice.
just honestly answer those questions. Does it require user interaction or no? Well, no, it doesn't. Is the scope changed? Well, it's changed. Does it affect confidentiality? Yes. And then we enter all this, and well, it's critical. So it's not like a personal decision. It's based on the official rating system.
That's very cool. I'm glad there's a way to drill and find that.
A lot of people
was wondering
don't
about that.
realize, that it's not just one or two people or even 10 people deciding whether or not something is critical or moderate or, weak. Is based on that scoring system. So it's really
very
objective.
nice.
Really objective. I mean, I won't say that it's perfect because we do struggle sometimes, right? With well, I mean, what would you say that is? And we kind of have to go into details of what the definitions of what is it talking about when some privilege is required. Okay. Some of
Attack
these are more obvious
complexity
than
is a
others.
big one.
Yeah.
Like depends for who. Like a
Yep.
good hacker or just a random person. So, and sometimes it's obvious, like, any random person would find this easily, and there are a lot of criteria there.
I think the lowest baseline should be, could Jeremy do it?
Nah. And this is what I was mentioning earlier too. You'll see this in DNN now, so that you can identify quickly if a critical exists without having to know the details. So at least you, as a super user within the system, knows that this probably needs my attention. We probably need to get up to date.
And I don't mean to call it out, but that was just repaired recently, right? We went a few years without that functionality actually working as expected, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
I know a lot of people
more reason to get up to 10.
A lot of people turn it off. Maybe that's in your checklist to turn off that, but now there's kind of a really good reason to leave it on to have have that warning.
Just to clarify on Jeremy's comment, it wasn't fixed in DNN. The update service had an issue. Right. So all DNN versions, since that feature exists, are basically fixed. It wasn't a DNN bug. It was an update service bug.
Didn't know that.
If you're on 804.91, it's gonna start showing like a blue or red or whatever color it was before the persona bar. But and it's gonna show critical here before it shows in the list that David sent earlier. So which brings us back to helping the good actors without helping the bad ones. Hey, there's a critical issue. We can't talk about it yet, but you should upgrade. This is critical. And 30 days later, basic details come out.
Yep. So there's a little bit of guidance on what you can do to kind of help with the whole process, because as a reminder, everybody that's working on this stuff is doing it for free, the goodness of their heart in their own spare time. So anything you can do to kind of help with that process, there's different ways you can help. Kind of starting with good reporting on this stuff too. So, and staying up to date. We don't want anybody to get hacked. So that's why we go through all of it.
Shout out to Brian Dukes. He has been stellar in a lot of the security fixes.
Yeah. Most of that's above my pay grade. I don't understand a lot of it. May at some level, but to code the fix, I don't know.
He's been super active in the last few months. That I've seen his name more repeatedly, more regularly recently. We should Encourage him to come join us on a SoFri meeting evening just so we can say hi and thank him. It's been years since he's joined us here on a
I
night.
posted an issue a couple months ago, and I kid you not, in under 3 hours, he had some comments posted that gave me the fix. It was incredible how fast he was on it, knew what I was talking about, and knew where to go for the answer. I like amazing.
He is a walking DNN encyclopedia. That is for sure. So if you ever really get stumped on a serious issue, he's a good one to reach out to. Other than that, didn't have a whole lot in the community. I don't know how much you want to say about this, Daniel, but I know you recently had a cool experience with the DNN Wiki module,
You should refresh your page.
Refresh the page, he says.
Oh, did you just do the release? Good job.
There.
Bravo. Congrats. Awesome.
Right.
Fresh out of the oven.
So what happened? Just a little bit of high level what happened. I know you're preparing potentially a blog to share a little bit more about this, but tell us a little bit verbally.
Basically, this module is like probably as old as the NN, and it's not a module that I use. I don't think it's a very popular module in the community.
Not to butt in, but this module was called what I called abandonware.
Yeah, so
and just while let's put it into real life here. If you go out into here, you guys would, oh, well, there you go. They put something in place here. I have not seen this before.
Choose all the clocks, not the purses. Clocks. There you go.
Wow, that's interesting that they actually have that. But this whole experience, used to you'd do a search and you'd find something here where this is a wiki, running this. Just to provide some context of what it is. But people can edit it and, I'm not logged in, so it's kind of a community wiki kind of thing.
Wow.
So
and then there's approvals and stuff. And so there's been two persons that commented that this module did not work in DNN 10. They were doing updates and they're blocking from upgrading DNN because of this module. And as you can imagine, this could be massive amounts of data that you don't want to lose. And that is not easy to migrate to another solution. There's no easy export and re-import in something else, like blog as kind of a known structure, or forums. There's a couple imports, exports, but this doesn't. So they're stuck on not being able to upgrade because of this module. And it's not a module I use, so I kind of just ask, would you be willing to contribute financially? Because very often the people who have the knowledge to do it, sometimes they don't use it because they use other solutions and they don't want to invest massive amounts of time on something that was not maintained. Right. I think in this case for 15 years. What am I getting into without any benefit, right? And so not to make it like a commercial endeavor, but are you guys willing to sponsor some of that work? And they both said yes, and one of them actually sent a sizable contribution anonymously, so I won't disclose the amount, but it was maybe not the normal rate I would have charged if this was a customer, but it was more than half of it, and that's worth spending a day or 2 days on this. It covers my loss, right? And I help everybody. Not that I would make more money than doing other work, but helping the community out. And I just went at it, and it wasn't that bad. I spent maybe a day and a half roughly, and it's now compatible with the DNN10. There's no real improvements or anything, but it's just a module that survived, right? And can live another day. And sponsorships work in that way, that not getting rich, but I could afford to skip a day of work and not incur a loss working on something I won't benefit from because I don't use it, right? So I'm preparing a blog post about that.
Daniel, I was going to ask you, compared to other modules where you've saved them and brought them forward for previous older versions of DNN, was this one tough? Was this one easy? How was it?
It was easy. Well,
Tedious?
There was more to do, but less complex to do in some ways because
Did you have
this one
Telerik
didn't
to
have
remove?
Telerik.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
So this one didn't have Telerik. It
Wow.
just happened to not have Telerik, maybe because the last time it was maintained was pre-Telerik.
Oh, good point. Yeah, yeah.
Because that was
That's
like
funny.
That is
15 years ago.
hilarious.
Yeah, because this
So,
probably hasn't seen the light of day since what, DNN 4 days or something?
right,
Yeah.
right.
Interesting.
So it wasn't like the hardest one, it wasn't the easiest one, but since you mentioned the other core modules, I was more willing to do them without contributions because they're very popular and I was using them,
Mhm.
right? So like there's
Form
the
and
benefit.
list, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
scratch
Daniel
your
did
own
a
itch,
release on
right?
that one not too long ago.
We
Yeah, so I
depended
still
on
use
those
this one.
upgrades. I was so glad you kept that alive. That saved me
Yeah.
a lot the last 6 years.
Right, and I still have it used in a couple sites where there's no budget to switch to something else. Sometimes they have a lot of data, and it's like it's working, it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
So let's just keep it alive until we have to do something.
Just
And it's
seeing
been
these again
maintained
reminds
every.
me how cool it was to have a DNN site with 14 modules in it.
Yeah.
Now one is too many.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Well, I'll
Hmm.
mention this since you mentioned sponsorship, and how that was working in that situation. I did notice a new feature that under GitHub sponsors, now you can actually sponsor not just an individual, which is the way it was before, but you can actually sponsor multiple people in one transaction. So, like you could, and it doesn't have
Ooh,
to be
wow.
two, it could be 5 people. So, for instance, if you wanted to, try to get Brian Dukes and Daniel Valadas and Peter Donker to work on an issue, together, and they each have skills in certain areas of that they can't do the whole thing themselves, but they can do a piece of it. Then you could wrap that all in one sponsorship, either one time or monthly, just like you can with an individual as well. So I think that opens up some more possibilities. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it here real quick on where it is, because I always get a little bit lost when I go here. If I go to manage, I don't think that's where it is. Where was it, Daniel, that we found this stuff?
But that's a very
Oh, I
neat
didn't see
feature.
how you got into. Oh, bulk sponsor. You have it there, the box with the pink hearts
Bulk.
there. Yeah,
Where?
yeah,
Oh yeah,
there.
there it is. Bulk sponsor.
Bulk
So you
sponsor.
get started, and
And
then you
Thanks.
can
everybody
I never
saw.
actually,
saw this before.
yeah, so you can go to one time or monthly, and then you basically choose the maintainers that you want to do, and they give you a spreadsheet where you can import those people and do a breakdown of how you
Neat.
want to sponsor them,
Yeah.
like that. So I thought that was really cool that they do that.
My next idea for this is they need to change it so you can change the word sponsor to either donate or bribe. I think that will help.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. They would get more people picking on bribe to have something done, and it would benefit everybody.
Hmm.
Yes, that's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that, Daniel. That's
Thanks for
about all I
showing that.
had.
Okay.
And
Jeremy, I don't want to go ahead.
if you go to the main repository, the DNN platform repository, there's also something new we did a couple months ago. Well, I did, and like just ask people, what do you think about this? And nobody said no, so I just did it. On the bottom right there, if you scroll down, there's now a list of, oh, a little less, 2 inches there. So I
Oh,
took
okay,
the
yeah.
last year of who contributed in to DNN on this repository, and I went for everybody that had set up for GitHub sponsorships. So if there's names of people you like and you don't see them here, just tell them to set up for sponsorships and we'll add them.
That's a great
But
addition.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't
yeah,
even. I remember you asking about that, Daniel, but I didn't never actually saw it happen.
uh,
I haven't even paid attention. Thank you.
so if you like DNN, you want to sponsor those that have been active recently, I plan to maintain this, if there's someone new shows up and is very active and is set up for sponsorships and has been active recently, to add them here.
I don't know if everybody else heard that correctly, but what I heard was to come and sponsor David Poindexter. He needs some help with stuff. I'm just kidding.
No, I wouldn't do that. There's not a heart next to his name.
I know. Well, yeah,
he's logged
it's an
in as
open
him.
heart because nobody sponsors me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
You have to go turn the hearts
That
full.
sounded kind of whiny to me.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was a little
So I
bit
have
of a jab.
Similar to your suggestion, I should suggest to GitHub to make it a broken heart, those who don't have a sponsorship.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Nice.
Good idea. Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well,
Sadly funny.
David, you want to get into our presenter for the evening, or did you have anything else community-wise?
I was just gonna try to put Jeremy on the spot and see if he could
Huh?
provide any kind of update on like Too Sexy, because I know you stay on the bleeding edge.
Yeah.
Do you see a potential LTS coming soon?
Yeah,
or-
I did actually have a brief chat convo with Daniel. He's back from his multiple off time and vacations, and you can start to see that the commits are happening again. So I do expect an LTS soon. I don't know whether it's going to be 20.1. I don't know how to speak for him, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
there's something coming very soon. But there
I know
really
we're
was a lot of
approaching,
downtime for him the last 3 months since August.
We're approaching December, and I know they like to do some lead-in
Yeah.
things, some prizes or gifts leading up to the
End of the year.
Christmas holiday. So kind of expecting that. And yep, cool. Thanks for sharing that.
I would also like to say that I'm here for Dynamic Panes and
Awesome. Brian, you want to introduce? I will stop sharing as soon as you tell me to stop sharing. So
All right. Well, I tell you what, David, since we're on your screen, would you bring up the ccisd.us site? And I'll just use that as a backdrop for me to introduce Billy Shelton. Billy Shelton is a developer that I've known for several years, and I think, I've worked with Billy and known him for about 5 years. No, wait, 5 years would put us back at COVID. Oh man.
Yeah, I think I started in 2018.
12 years at this point. It's been a while. Like many of the rest of us all working in DNN, we meet at conventions, we meet at user groups, we work together on a project, and then we work on another project together 3 years later. I kind of know everyone in the community in that same kind of spirit of us all working together on different things. I met Billy, and we worked early on a lot of Xmod Pro projects together because he was using Xmod Pro heavily for some of the things that he was doing. I know him from his work at Corpus Christi Independent School District, CCISD, and we've shared different things over periods of time. And I think end of the year last year, maybe beginning of this year, he just offhand mentioned a project he was working on, and I got so excited because this was his invention of something that I used to use way back in DNN 3 or maybe DNN 4, and it was a dynamic pane module. And it was wonderful when it worked well, this module in the past. It was a pain in the neck when you uninstalled it or it went wrong because it destroyed all the modules that you'd put up on a page and arrangement, and it was a horrible mess. So we stopped using it eventually, and then I think that somewhere around DNN 5 or 6, it didn't exist any longer. So we got used to building skins and themes and putting panes where we needed to, but we kind of gave up this idea of dynamic panes. And when Billy showed this to me, he says that I got more excited than I should have. It's something we used to rely on a lot. And when we would show customers, clients how to use it in their own sites, they loved it. So I was really excited to see this, and Billy's joining us here tonight to kind of give us an introduction to this. So with that, Billy, I want to pass it back over to you, and also to say thank you for coming to Southern Fried DNN tonight to present this and do a little show and tell. We really appreciate seeing you here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. For the record, that CCISD's primary website's moved off DNN.
Yep.
They're hosting on a custom school website product
system.
So we are still using it for our intranet, and that's where I'm using this. I can give you a brief background of what our situation was. I have a lot of, back when we were hosting all the school sites on DNN, I had a lot of people editing content. I mean, teachers, non-technical people and stuff. And it was always difficult to give them the tools they need, but limit their control so they didn't destroy the site and stuff. So that's kind of where this was eventually born out of. Let me share my screen here. I did some little slides. Let's see if I can get the right one up. Yeah. So, and this is just a demo site, so forgive me that it's not on the latest version. I just spun this up the other day, so don't try to hack it because it'll be gone in an hour. there's nothing on it. So I mean, I just put this little presentation together. We can kind of go through it. Basically, you probably are all familiar with the pain point of you either put a ton of layouts in the skin where you have, lots of panes in the skin, and then the content editor has to choose which one of those boxes to stick their content in to get the layout they want, or you have lots of skin files and they have to go in and try to select the right layout file for the layout they want. And that just was a struggle for us. So I came up with this solution. It's not a lot, but I kind of walked through. I just did a little quick demo of it. I kind of, we're all familiar with now my site's going to go slow. The typical thing where you've got, a dozen content panes. I don't even know if y'all can see that.
We can.
That's how all of our skins were built prior to this, which was a mess, especially when you wanted a full width layout and an option for a fluid full width layout and a not full width layout. And so you had just tons of these panes. So this is the little tool I built. And it basically adds this little icon on here. You click on it and it lets the content editor create columns. It lets them create, switch between full width and not full width. Lets them add a row. They can name the panes. We always kind of do something like this. It does, and this is all kind of preset the way we use it. But it just lets them, the way I've set it now, it just sort of lets them switch between like 25%, 33%, 50%, 66, 70% kind of
Some
thing.
Common breakpoints of combinations.
Yeah, just kind of, what a content manager, most of my content managers would want. They're not looking for a little one column pane. And then they can apply that to the page and close this little editor. And you do have to close the edit and reload the page. But then those, you'll see the main row too. So now I can drop a module in there. Right, and I've just added that pane, and DNN treats it just like a normal pane. And so, if you wanted to, well, you get the point. It's a, from DNN's point of view, it's just a normal pane. I got a little fancier than that. So I have sort of two scenarios. One, I have sort of content editors that I let customize the page they have access to, or pick a custom layout. So they could pick this little kind of preset layout and put it back to on their page. As a admin, I can actually create these little templates. I call them templates. Add in, some columns, right? And then, so as an admin, I have the option of saving that as a template. Name it something, 2 rows, 2 columns, I don't know, something like that. And then it becomes a template available to all the content editors to use on their page. Apply it to this page. And that's really kind of the extent of what it does. So I kind of go through how it's built if you're interested. The main thing, it sort of consists of 2 parts. It's a library and a skin object. The library basically taps into the skin initiation process in DNN and drops those content panes in when that page is being created on the server.
Yeah.
Which is why it allows it to act like a normal pane to DNN. And then the skin object is just that little editor piece. And then you just add that skin object into your skin when you build a skin. So there's not a lot to it. It stores the layouts for the tab itself in the tab settings, and then those templates are stored in the template settings. So there's no database entry. There's no nothing like that. It's just right there in the settings.
Could you say that again, though? Wait, no database entry, or you mean no separate database table?
No separate. No. I'm sorry. Yeah, no custom tables or anything like
Gotcha.
that. It just stores it in the tab settings and the portal settings.
I notice you avoid the content pane, and you seem to always leave that on the page below what you insert.
I do.
Good. I like that.
And it's specifically because, right, if I go into the page and I put a module in there, and I drop it in one of my
yeah, and then if you do a rename, it has somewhere to go.
Right, exactly. Or if you delete it, right? So if I was to go in and delete that row, right, save that, then it's going to drop obviously back into the content panes.
Good.
So kind of, you can still get in, I guess, the same situation where you had it nicely laid out and then you delete all of them. They're all going to be dumped in the content pane, but they all should still be on the page and you should still be able to, work with it. But it's an effective little tool for my users at their level. So, yeah, I kind of wrote up some stuff here, but this version is hard coded to the Bootstrap. I'm using NV Quick Theme. Thank you. And a version of customized it, and it's just Bootstrap. You could obviously switch it out to use whatever CSS framework you wanted. It's just we were using Bootstrap, so that's what I set it up as. Yeah, I don't know.
But before you go deeper, let me ask a question. Back on your architecture tab there for a second.
Yeah.
So you were describing why this works, and that was some of the questions that I was about to ask. Scroll down just a touch to the why this works section. This is what I was going to ask. So when this is in place, this is a DLL in the bin. This is a skin object in the skin. If those get removed, then the information that gets remaining in the tab settings or in the module settings, that doesn't matter. It gets ignored. Nothing gets done with it. And your modules end up being on your content pane. So there's not a danger of removing it. Installing it, this doesn't alter the core. This doesn't modify or change anything about the structure of DNN. It's working with the way that DNN, is presenting this information, which is an entirely different approach than the module that I remember using a million years ago with the people who, and the way they did theirs. It modified the core. If you deleted it, your pages would all break. It was traumatic to the DNN instance.
Do you
This
remember
seems to
the
work
insanity
with
of
things
the
existing.
Porto theme, which would rewrite your ASCX files? That was insane.
Right?
I tried to use it once. I didn't like it.
I did not like it. I got away from that fast.
I
Yeah.
put it on my naughty list.
So, I mean, yeah, you said this doesn't. I mean, it does tap into the initiation, the initialization process of the skin,
Right.
right? So it inherits from the skin class on this little library. So, you know, but it only is going to be effective on
when it's in use.
Well,
yeah. Which
and
means,
if you, yeah, right. If you pull it out, you shouldn't have any issues. It should, because, you know, in the tab entry in the database, it's just got the pane name, which now doesn't exist, but it handles
it'd be the same thing if you dumped to a different skin or got rid of a skin and you had things with pane names that didn't exist anymore. That's something that is handled gracefully.
Yeah.
It breaks and
yeah,
doesn't.
DNN already does that. DNN already does that.
Right.
The module's going to land somewhere.
So I don't know, you know, kind of the key piece is on the in the library when I override the on init for the skin. It basically parses that JSON that it's storing in those tab settings and portal settings. It creates the panes. One of the issues I found was I couldn't create the panes in the structure, or the on init wouldn't work, the base on init. So I had to create the panes, run the on init, and then go back and lay out the structure. But it's still happening, you know, server side before there's anything else put in those. So it's not like I'm moving stuff around in you know, JavaScript on the you know,
on the page, right? It's not client
on the DOM. But it does, you know, kind of move those around server side before anything else gets put in them. You know, the little JSON it stores in the settings things is pretty simple. And like I say, this is all hardwired to Bootstrap for this situation. But it would be almost trivial to change that out to one of your other.
And really, when you say Bootstrap, you're basically saying that you're just swapping out classes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. In this routine right here where it says generate layout structure, it just fills in the Bootstrap classes on that HTML that it's generating.
I'm feeling like Daniel Veladas needs to speak up and say, hey, this would be easy to integrate into the core.
I will say it is one thing that I have always thought was weird that wasn't something in DNN. That
me too. I've been percolating on this idea for years. I was very excited to talk this through.
So it
very
is
nice solution.
It is an evoke, just to be clear. They have something similar. You know, in evoke, and I don't know if anybody. I mean, they call it module layout or content layout. You know, where you can kind of choose your layout of the content blocks and stuff. But I don't know if anybody remembers back in the day, DNN Sharp revealed something that was along these same lines, and I cannot for the life of me remember what they called it.
I remember that
it
too.
Never became a product, but I think it was the foundation of what they now use in Plan an App.
It was called Sharp Look.
That's it. Sharp Look.
That's it.
I'm glad you remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been looking for it this whole time. But
I'd seen the Evoke version, but
it would be nice. I mean, I know a lot of people don't worry too much about panes. I know we try to keep ours very minimal, but I know there's a lot of use cases out there, especially for people that are using many modules. You know, you don't always have the flexible of just sticking with structured content, for instance, you know, and and working in that context, we control our layouts that way. But like I could see the benefit of this in platforms. So could we potentially expect some sort of potential contribution in the future there, Billy?
What I think is interesting is to overlap this with the MVC pipeline and kind of talk that avenue through.
Yeah.
It's here on my GitHub page. You're welcome to it.
Is there a GitHub page? I would love to.
Yeah. Are you seeing it now? Oh, I'm sharing just that tab.
Now we're back to
paste it
now
in
we're back
chat.
to the issue you talked about at the very beginning.
That's why he said
Exactly.
screen. Yep.
There's a GitHub page right there.
Okay, so good.
Okay, Billy Shelton, you're my favorite person at the moment.
For the next 10 minutes. Woohoo!
We did talk about sponsoring and learning how to do that in GitHub.
Yeah, I could see some synergy here, buddy.
There's a few things that I see as really could it's rough around the edges. The things I could see, could really make it nice. Right now, when you pick full width, it's the whole thing. So if you add rows, they're the same fixed width. It'd be nice to be able to drag and drop to reorganize a little bit. So you can definitely do a little nicer stuff with this little editor. I didn't get that fancy with it because most of my users are just not going to do that much with it. Half the time it's going to be, me or one of my programmers jumping in there and changing it for them. The other half, they'll do just fine with what it does. So, I wondered about the idea of being able to use like Too Sexy uses the KOI file to specify the framework. I don't know if that would be a possibility or not. I don't know. There's a lot of things there's a lot of improvements that you could make,
Crawl, walk, run. So start little and get it functional and then improve from there.
Exactly. We need a starting point because, you guys have all seen that for me, panes need to start on the front end nowadays. And tying that together requires a little rethinking.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the basics of it, right? You install the two extensions, the library and the skin object, and then in your skin you just add in your registration, your register, and you put the little
called Bootstrap as part of the skin like normal.
Yeah. And
am I allowed to say F Bootstrap, or is that wrong right now?
Yeah, it's
wrong. Do I?
But you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, David wants to say F dependencies. That's what David wants to say.
Well, that's Daniel.
Yes.
That's Daniel, and he rubs off on me. So
and me.
I love the presentations I've seen on Tailwinds and all that. A lot of my users, some of my users actually have the ability to do a little bit of Bootstrap classes, and it gets us where we need to get. We're not on the bleeding edge by any stretch of the imagination.
Billy, I was gonna say that too when we were talking about use cases and why to use this. To me, it's much more important on a site where you have content editors, people who are going to be at a middle level of technology and coding experience, but they might be designers who can do layout. They might be content entry people who need to put something in 2 columns and they want to adjust what's there. Giving them an interface to do that kind of gets them through that step of having done it just in an HTML block and putting in some Bootstrap code. But if they do know Bootstrap, then they can even do more with it.
Right.
That's where I see this kind of need, because a lot of the sites that we manage, we turn over to the end clients and then we train them and they do so much management. That's where, to borrow from Mitch Sellers, good, bad, or otherwise, right, wrong, or indifferent. Bootstrap is highly valuable because it's established and people know it and they know how to work with it. So to me, I'm all in.
I will make you eat those words.
And that is exactly our use case. I've got a spectrum of users. One of the ladies that puts out most of our content on our HR page, she's a programmer. She can do, pretty much anything, she wants to do. But then I've got, people that put content out for their department that are, basically secretaries or, slightly technical people, and being able to pick a layout and easily change that just it's just the use case we need.
Yeah.
And so it's worked for us.
What level of DNN type of user gets access and ability to see that editing ability? Is it with the page level? And if you can edit the page, you can see that tool, or how's that?
That's what I have it as right now. I mean, you could obviously customize that. Right now, that's exactly. If you are, I'd have to remember in the code exactly what that's set to. I think it's set to a role in my code, but it could be just that it's. I think it's just using. I think it's just using the. If you can edit the page, you can edit that. Okay. And then if you're an admin, you can edit templates on there, the little template feature.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way it's set up. I'd have to verify that, but so. Well, that's all I got. So
I gotta add, I think it's phenomenal, Billy. Thank you. Years ago at one of the summits or worlds or wherever it was, I did a survey of builders, and Easy DNN has one, DNN Go has one. Several different people have builders, and they're a pain, and you have to go with that particular vendor. And I've always said it really should be part of what DNN does, because when you first start, using DNN, the first thing you find out is I can't get a layout that I want, because I picked the wrong skin, or this particular skin doesn't have that layout. And I want to I've got a page here. I want to put in a 2-column thing, and then followed by a 3-column thing, followed by another 2-column thing, whatever. I just want to do that. Why can't you let me do that? And I've seen people do it. They said, I'm going somewhere else. Now they've got the ability to just dive in and lay out whatever they want, and it's easy to do. So if this could be something in the core, this would be phenomenal.
Well, it's free to the community. Y'all use it however you want. I'll be glad to work on it some more when I have time.
My big pitch is that there's a lot of people that would take DNN and would log in as an admin, and they would look at what you need to do here, and they'd say, I don't know how to do that, and they would walk away. Whereas if it's built in and they log in and they get the little icon and they click it, and now they can drop in any columns and rows that they want, they're happy and they continue using the product.
Yeah, the pain point there would be, I guess, the CSS framework, or do you not do a CSS framework at all? Do you just do it with Flexbox and,
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's
part of
the
DNN.
reality.
It could be a skin, I guess, that you.
That's why I mentioned this stuff happening on the front end is a key thing to correlate.
Well, Aperture or whatever that is, it kind of has a little mini framework in it that's very similar to Bootstrap already. So I could see something like this being able to be applied easily to that theme. But, in DNN, you'd have to kind of have it be more generic, so that anything that comes in, it has decent styling independent of the theme.
And especially that this is just placement. It's not actually making something pretty.
Yeah, it's one of the important things. Technically, people have to understand that a theme is about structure and layout, not your content. And we have a lot of problems with that. We educate people on separating the layout and the structure from the content, and this is really important to understand, that you're talking about structure. If it's implemented on the front end, that's fantastic.
Talking with Dawn's point about, this is not complex to integrate into an existing DNN instance or into an existing skin, but it is a combination of steps. And Billy, I was going to suggest that I might work with Fred on my team to take this and help build a more complex installer. because of the work that we've done for installers for Xmod Pro, where in addition to getting modules and elements in place, we also put templates into locations and we also edit some files. We could probably build an installer for this that would allow you to drop down and choose which skin you want to apply the change to. And we make a copy of that skin and then apply this into the right files. I feel like we could build a little something that could, for Don's perspective, be able to say, okay, let me go and install this into a DNN instance and it just do it without you having to do those steps.
Yeah, I assumed at a minimum you could install both the library and the skin object at the same time. I didn't try to figure that out. Honestly, I use the Will's Upendo DNN generator for my modules and stuff, and it's just plugged into his structure.
Yeah,
so
fantastic. Well, Billy, on your presentation, what did you have on Q&A topics or conclusions?
Oh, I don't know, random stuff.
You have questions? Ooh.
Yeah,
How does this work with existing modules? Yeah, that's interesting. Are there any modules where this might conflict with? I can't think of.
So actually, since I've been using it, I did find an issue with. So we do a lot of single page applications using Vue. And on some of those, I use the Bootstrap modals. I did find an issue where I guess there's a I forget what it was called. Basically, the modal was not coming high enough up in the
layers.
The Z index.
The what?
The Z index.
Yeah, well, but it wasn't just the Z index. It was like I guess there's multiple sets of Z indexes, multiple what was the wording?
Nested
layers.
Yeah. It was like a separate context layers or something. And so it was because they were inside that. So in my in the Vue module, you have a teleport function that'll teleport that modal to the body of the HTML. So I had to do.
It wasn't getting to the right spot.
Huh?
It wasn't getting to the right spot. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if that would be a general problem or if that was just because of the way we were building our spas. So yeah, I don't know on some of those things.
I like your point of saying that can the person making edits and changes break the layout? You have some validation in there, so you must equal 12. Partly because you're just making boxes larger and smaller. The way you have it, it's not like you type in and I want this to be 3 and I want this to be 19. You're allowing them to grow or shrink these things, right?
Yeah, and that's just that little JS editor that's doing that. I mean, that could all be tweaked however you wanted, but yeah, I just set it for our users. They just need a few options, so kind of limit it.
Yeah, Bootstrap is way too bound to that 12 column thing.
Yeah.
You don't realize that until you move on from it.
It's because it's a number that can combine up in multiple even and odd ways.
Right.
Whatever.
Fight.
Whatever.
Don't try to change the world, Jeremy.
Thanks to the community for all y'all's work. We use it. We appreciate
it. Billy, this is awesome. Please don't take any of my comments or sarcasm as this is awesome. I'm going to work in the background to convince Daniel Veladas and Peter Donker and other people that this is a core feature and it's coming soon.
I've heard that sponsorships convince much better than words.
And I hear you because I'm going to start charging my customers more.
Yeah, there you go.
It is also open source, right? So like if you contribute this platform, the only reviews you're going to get is that this needs to work with any theme, right? So if it's Bootstrap specific, it won't get in. If it's universal and it just works with any theme, it's more than welcome.
Yeah, that's my next take. The reason I've got it up on screen for tomorrow or this weekend. I want to see if I can disconnect this from Bootstrap.
Yeah.
Because Bootstrap is like pouring concrete. You don't want that. That's my hot take. You can quote me on that. I coined that.
Okay. Bootstrap's like pouring concrete. Gotcha.
So,
Well,
and I do want to give a shout out to the community and all of y'all that have contributed so much, because it's really allowed us to do a lot. We really use our intranet for sort of a rapid development platform, and DNN has allowed us to do that in a way that I don't think anything else could have. So,
Billy, let's take this opportunity to do a little bit of your history with DNN. What was your first DNN version you started working in, and when you were using this for the public front end of your site, how many sites, how many managers, how many pages? Give us some stats of kind of that point in time.
We started at CCISD on 7.1 or 2, somewhere in there. We started on Evoke.
Sorry.
I think I looked at DNN personally many years before that, but like way back, and didn't ever use it for anything professionally. We had about 70, 75 sites running on portals running on one DNN instance. Mm-hmm. We eventually moved off of Evoke because they were running us in Azure. We were having enormous problems, so we redesigned and moved to Community. We had, for every site, we had 2 or 3 content managers, and those could be, anybody from a technical person to a math teacher. When we first started with DNN, I had coaches go in above the menu and put black and white clip art the size of half the page above the main menu, pushing everything on the page down. I mean, I literally had those kinds of things. From there, we went to trying to do a structured content, and we actually built a pretty robust structured content in mainly using Xmod Pro. We kind of went the far opposite. We went from let them do anything to don't let them do anything at all. Enter this information here. It goes on the page where we put it. Leave it alone. And that was, we had to. We were running into accessibility problems. We were running into style problems. We were running into just enormous issues with, some teachers wanted the whole thing in bright rainbow colors and, flashing and, obviously an accessibility nightmare. So then we moved.
Marquee, bring back Marquee.
So then we moved to really sort of our custom structured content. The thing we loved about DNN is we were pulling stuff from our back end, information about, so all these schools, we would have the teachers' classes and stuff auto updating the website with all that information. So being .NET house, being able to pull all that from our on-prem databases and stuff and feed it into DNN was really the selling point on DNN there. They did eventually decide to go to a specific a company that creates specific sites for
an industry platform.
Yeah, a school district platform, and the big selling point for them was it integrated all their social media. They do a post, it goes out to Facebook, it goes to their Twitter feed, it goes to the website page. It integrates a lot of communication pieces. There was a whole lot of extra that's around the website that they really liked. And this company, although we're paying for it, this company is doing most of the content management. So they send in, hey, we want this, and the company does it. So I think that was a lot of the selling point for it.
Keep on them, because they're using AI to do all your content now.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's a whole other topic anyway. that's out of my ballpark now. That's
Yep.
Department of Communications now. So I focus on the intranet, and we're still using the DNN for it. So, and loving it. So.
Well, Billy, thanks again for coming in to present this to us. We think that this, you see the interest of the people who are here. I know people who are watching this later on are just as excited about it. And so if we don't do it any other point in time tonight, thank you for creating something awesome, for thinking about a problem and a way to address it, and being elegant about the way that you approach the problem, because this seems like a natural fit within DNN. You're not breaking DNN to make something new. You're enhancing what exists to make it better. And this is just a fantastic element to add into the system.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well.
It's a pleasure.
All right. Then David, how about David's bringing on a round of applause there on screen. All right. Well, David, I'm talking out loud, but I'll pass it back to you. We're kind of towards the end of our time period here. Sometimes we go on to 8 o'clock if we have more that we can talk about. Maybe we turn it over to the community, see if anybody has items they want to talk about round robin a little bit. Maybe share some things they've been doing in DNN recently. Otherwise, we can wrap up again soon.
I can share something real quick.
Go for it, Jeremy.
All right. I don't know about this, but I'm going to do it. If you can't tell, I've been drinking, so this might be a mistake here. So
could be shots
Oh
called.
boy.
Let's see.
Make
Oh,
sure I'm
boy.
recording still. Okay, I am. Good. Go, Jeremy.
where on earth is the share button? Okay, here we go.
My main thing before we go too much further, Jeremy, is your background is a wire Medusa back there. I'm going to come by your office at some point and help you straighten up your cables.
Compared to 10 years ago, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys can see what's on screen?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting aspect ratio.
4.com.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
Your
All right.
monitor's vertical, we can tell, but that's all right.
So what you're looking at is some Tailwind shit. And this is the part that's actually kind of impressive, if I do say so myself. What you're looking at here is the Too Sexy Content app. And if I click this button, see all these?
No.
No.
It's not updating the
I
screen.
think you're sharing the wrong screen, maybe. I don't know.
You cannot see that? All right,
We're
hold on.
seeing
is the main-
AccuFloor VNext TW4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can
On
you
a
see down
vertical
here?
monitor.
Can you
we don't
see that?
any mouse.
I don't see your cursor.
All right, hold on a sec. Let me undo this then.
Yeah, share the whole monitor versus just an app.
I thought
Oh,
I
you
did.
are.
Give me a
Okay.
second to fix this, and I can't even find where the sharing stuff went.
When you're making a presentation, anytime that there's an error, you have to take another shot. That's part of the established rules of DNN.
I was just going to say, I'll have what he's having.
Hey, Jeremy, I'll force stop your
Mm.
sharing, and then you can
Do
start
it.
over again, maybe.
Excellent.
maybe help.
Excellent. I could not find the unshare button.
But Ryan, wouldn't this fall into don't drink and share?
Perhaps. Perhaps that is one of the reasons why we have this after hours, for sure.
We don't have any anonymous or
How about
10
now?
Jeremys in the
The
meeting.
ninth, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in much better shape, Jeremy.
Yes.
All right, so we're in Too Sexy
Yes.
Content tab.
Yep.
Time.
Switch view. These look familiar to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
What happens if instead of a BS4 or a BS5 folder in the content app, what if you have?
You lost me at content app. I'm sorry.
I understand that. But what if you have a TLW4 folder in place and you can just take your content and reformat it using Tailwind? So you're actually looking at the same content re-rendered, and there's Tailwind classes. There is CSS cascade layers handled for you. There is CSS variables in place. So we're getting the calls coming from a CSS variable. So as you switch between this, you are all CSS and swapping between these views. It's actually one view for these four, for example. And these are alternate views. And you're just swapping in and out your CSS variables and your Tailwind. And it's just gorgeous. And it works amazing. So anyhow, just wanted to show that off. We have this trying to talk to Daniel a little bit about possibly making this a contribution to the content app. And one of the nice things is we're only doing stuff in the TLW4 folder. We are not modifying the content app in any meaningful way. There's no new settings. There's no new content types. There's no new anything. We're using whatever that was there and was feeding Bootstrap, and we're having Tailwind react to it. So there.
Yep.
Fun stuff.
Nice.
Works on every single page on this website. And of course, I'm a big fan of the disclosure element in HTML. So everything you're seeing in these menus, including the ability to walk down multiple levels.
Yeah. This part of disclosures?
Yeah, that's the disclosure element as a DDR menu.
Interesting.
Fun stuff. When I get to play, I get to play.
Yeah, one of the things about me picking up Tailwind is seeing the end benefits and use first, so I can understand why it's interesting to work with. So I've enjoyed watching what you're showing us here.
It's interesting because it's 9 stair steps, and until you get to stair step 4, you have no clue why you're doing it. I fumbled up the first 3 steps, and I got to tell you, by the time I got to step 4 and then 5 and then 6 and understood what I was supposed to be doing, so much better. The world is so much better than denying dependencies. It's better.
Interesting.
All right. Well, anyhow, that was my sub 5-minute demo, I hope.
That was excellent. Thank you, Jeremy.
Jeremy, that reminds me, we probably should plan on doing another, kind of show and tell.
I am going to volunteer for
like
that any minute because I got this whole AccuTheme thing that part of what you're seeing here is for now bundled into AccuTheme, and I do want to do a presentation on that now.
Nice.
So not next month, but maybe the month after.
December, we often will do a hangout. We'll do a round robin, or
I hear that guy Ryan Moore is really popular with the games, and I
was going
love
to say, or we
games.
put in some games, and so I haven't planned anything specific. I've got all kinds of things going on in home and at work that are crazy, so I haven't planned ahead a lot recently, but. If we wanted to do a Christmas party game, I'll be glad to refresh and mix together some of the previous to make sure it's not stale content. But I think that's what we'll be doing here for December, unless anyone has anything else to suggest. Anyone else want to jump in? Jeremy, you kind of gave us a show and tell here for a second. Dawn, good to see you. I haven't been on a lot since the summer, really. So I don't know, you could have been here every meeting since, but I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you on SoFri.
On and off, but yeah, it's great to see you all.
Hey, you're wearing an Orlando DNN shirt down there.
You betcha.
We got to represent, right?
Right.
All right. All right. All right, Daniel, you told us what you've been up to lately. We kind of started off with that. David, how about you? What have you been up to the last month or two, other than fighting off Anonymous to have good SoFri meeting content?
Yeah, that's been my world. Well, a lots of stuff going on, but nothing really show and tell worthy.
All right.
Most of it
David's
behind
been
the veil.
equipping his van with countermeasures to deal with the coming apocalypse.
It's not far
I made
from the
all of that
truth
up,
there.
but it's not unplausible.
Yeah, it's not totally untrue. I am kind of gearing up to head back out soon. I've got one major issue to overcome, and once that's done, you guys will be seeing me from undisclosed locations throughout the throughout the
On the
country.
trail.
Oh, wow.
I was really wanting to do a Baja trip in January, but it's probably not in the cards for this
Not
year.
yet.
So
They're
not
undisclosed locations that get disclosed 30 days after, right?
Yes, exactly. Approximately 30 days. Yeah.
I just wanted to say hi.
Hi,
Good
Joe.
to see you, Joe.
Nice to see you.
I have been very invisible. It's been a weird couple of years.
You look like
And
you're in a great location right now, though.
I just came back from a cruise like 10 days ago.
Oh,
Nice.
sweet.
But
Nice.
in the last couple of years, I've moved.
Right.
I had an accident that could have been much worse than it was.
Joe, I was going to ask you about your fall. You feel like
That's
you're stable and in good shape again?
Well, it's interesting. The worst part of the injury was I cracked either the radius or the ulna, if anybody knows anatomy. And the hardest thing to come back from is dexterity in my left hand.
Oh, wow.
I'm a left-hander, but it's coming back. Back in around the 1st of October, I sold the house that we built in 1980 and had lived in ever since. And I'm in Frederick, Maryland, if anybody wants to look that up on a map. It's a little bit north of Rockville and Gaithersburg, up I-270. And
So, Joe, funny enough, I'm actually heading up that way not too long from now. As soon as I can schedule it in, I've got some upgrades to do in that area, actually in Frederick, with a company called Trail Grid Pro.
would you let me know when you're going to be here if you have some free
Yeah,
time?
I will definitely hit you up and let you know.
So fried meat
yeah. Do you know where you're staying yet?
In my van. Yep.
Okay, right.
With countermeasures.
Right. I kind of missed out on that story, David, but
they're over on Progress Drive.
I've seen some teasers for podcast, I think, but
they're over on Progress Drive in Frederick. So
well, that's nice to know, but I have no idea where Progress Drive is. I'm about 1.25 miles from the downtown historic part of Frederick.
Okay, I'm sure it's not too far. It's not a big city, so
it's bigger than it was 20, 40 years ago. But
I bet so,
yeah. So I'm kind of recovering my life and trying to figure out and hope to be seen in the DNN community one of these days again.
That is fantastic.
Glad you're here. Hi, Don. You just popped up on my screen.
All right. Well, Marco, you just got back from a trip. Last month you were here in North Carolina. How about you? What you been up to this last month or two?
Well, actually, I'm starting a new and very interesting project. Next February, it's Costa Rica elections for new presidents. So I'm in one of the political parties. I have one client that is a former president of Costa Rica. He recommended me, and I'm starting with ads and the website. So
Excellent.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
busy right now.
Marco came to visit me, and then he kind of got busy with work right away because he got that opportunity while he was here.
Yeah, actually, I was getting the luggage from the airport before leaving, waiting for Daniel, from David, and the guy just called me, and everything went crazy. So, I'm kind of like fast forward until February. But yeah, I mean,
just so you know,
actually,
marketing wise, don't help the loser.
yeah, well, I'm trying.
I think he's helping the guy that he can sleep good at night knowing he's helping. There you go.
That's good to hear.
Good choice. Good choice.
Actually, I'm gonna see what are the options for DNN Connect next year to present, and I might come up with a nice, cool presentation about,
If it's
DNN
politics,
agency
I have only one
and
question.
politics.
Can he finish his sentences? Can he stay on topic?
Yeah.
Not to reveal my leanings, but
who might you be talking about, Jeremy?
oh, I don't want to say.
Let me segue safer. We did some work within DNN for the government of Bermuda, for the island of Bermuda, a few years back. And one of the things that impressed me about the work at the time was that the president of Bermuda was very interested in DNN and very interested in the projects that his teams were doing. And I thought, the president of the country is interested in DNN and about the development approaches that are being taken. That's just so foreign to me with an idea of what I was expecting. And then we learned he was a database expert. He came up from a data perspective, and I was like, fantastic, that's excellent. So maybe you'll have some excellent experiences ahead with this project and with the president, person running for president.
About the closest I got to something like that about 10 years ago, I was doing some consulting for my local county's IT department, and their website was DNN. And in that period of time was when one morning, about 3 in the morning, the website color scheme changed to dark black, and the message on the screen when people went there said, "I love ISIS."
Yeah. That round of hacks.
Yeah, I remember that hack. Yep.
I have a screenshot of that somewhere, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Fortunately, the local 911 department in the county kind of had the website up continually. So they spotted it immediately, and somebody was smart enough to turn it off. But it did end up on the front page of the Washington Post that morning.
Well, anyone else want to go and share anything? Jim, you got anything you want to mention? We kind of went around and I'm looking back in the list.
Well, I haven't touched DNN since May.
Oh, Jim.
You've got a new role you're leaning into.
I have a new role on the couch with a remote.
You know what? It means your mind is free to think of new things, and that
or it's turning to mush.
You'll have new ideas percolating. No. Well,
Here I am I'm sitting here thinking, I don't want to retire, and if I did retire, I'd want to work more on DNN, and
yeah,
somehow that's the opposite.
But it's nice to see you, especially since you're no longer like actively working with DNN, that you still come and see us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good to see you, Jim.
Yeah.
Miss you, man.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward at the calendar here. I believe that our third Thursday meeting would be December the 18th. And unless we need to change or reschedule that, I think that'll be the SoFri meeting where we do some round robins, talk about the end of the year, and we'll put in some DNN game show in there. If anybody has some strong feelings about DNN $10,000 pyramid versus Jeopardy, I would probably say not Family Feud. That one takes a little bit more activity. to put together a Family Feud group. But if anybody has any suggestions or a new game you want me to try and run through, just reach out. I'll be putting together a few things here over the next few weeks.
I think you deserve a compliment on how great the last DNN Connect
The DNN Summit?
Summit. The game at that show was fantastic in Vegas.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
That was a lot of fun.
That was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen.
It was.
That was great.
Excellent. Peter Donker was amazing.
It was, for those who weren't there, I think that the recording's still available on Hopin. If you attended DNN Summit, you can go back and watch it again. But it was a perfect setup in that we were doing GNN Jeopardy. We had our group, sorry, not Jeopardy, the DNN Family Feud. And we were doing our setup of people, and they were all participating, and everyone was so excited to be together.
It was a great audience.
Everyone was having fun and laughing.
And our host was spectacular and on topic. Everything was perfect.
Well, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
It was good.
All right, then, David, you started out presenting, and I kind of took over because of my loud mouth, and I do that often. Let me pass it back to you to close out for the evening.
All is good on my end. It was good to see everybody, and I don't really have anything else unless anybody else has anything.
Right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers,
Great seeing
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Joe, I'll let you know
Cheers.
when I head up that way, buddy.
You do
Jim,
that.
I'm gonna
Yes,
make
sir.
it. Jim, I'm gonna make it down your way as well. You just wait.
Well, I could be I could be down here in Tampa, or I could
If
be up
you're
in
in-
Albany. never
Yeah,
know.
I'll check and see which one you're at, and go from there. I'm leaning towards Tampa. It's getting cold around here.
I think he's been through Illinois without stopping by, so I know what that means.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but this is but Jeremy, I can remind David that I have season tickets, and the Panthers
Ooh.
haven't played here yet.
We will though, and I think we're gonna give you guys a run for your money this year. We'll see which Panthers show up that day.
Yeah.
But yeah. We never know, by the way.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.